Hey everybody, and welcome to the pre-break review for geometry. If you are following along in class, this is a tutorial for the first sheet in the package called the Segment Addition Postulate. Alright, and I'm going to jump right into this here. And let's see, so we have number 1. It says find the length indicated. So if you think back and remember the segment addition postulate, basically means we're going to be adding segments together in some way, shape, or form to come up with a total. So here on number 1, let me find out where I'm at. Boom. So it's telling us at point H, point G, and point F, these are 3 points on this line. It's also telling us down here in the blue that from point H all the way to point F is a measurement of 10. The other given here is that from point G to point F is just 1. So if the whole thing is 10, and from G to F is 1, the question mark is, what is the measurement of H to G? So we can all guess that that answer is 9. But the way to figure that out is you would take the whole thing. The whole thing is equal to the parts. This part here, HG, plus GF. So I have one that I don't know, and I have one that is 1. So I could subtract 1 from both sides if I was doing this algebraically, and I would get that the question mark equals, whoops, I put 10 there, 9. Pretty messy. Okay, otherwise you can use common sense, trust yourself, do the math in your head if you feel like you can. Okay, so let's apply that same logic here to number 2. So number 2 tells us the given that the entire segment from R to T is 13. And again, that would be equal to the sum of its parts. So this 1 plus this question mark. So 1, and I'll keep with the question mark. So if 13 equals 1 plus a question mark, what would be the question mark? I think we can all agree is the number 12. So it looks pretty simple. However, when you get to something here like this, number 3, you've got the entire line segment from T to V to be 32. That's the total, equal to the sum of its parts. So what parts or segments is line TV broken up into? Well, we have from T to U, and we have from U to V. Those are the 2 things we would need to add together. So a question mark, we don't know that. Segment to U. And we do know from U to V is 20. So before we saw whether it was just a 1 and we had to take that 1 away. So here, how can you apply that same principle? Give me a moment to think about it. And so yes, if I take the 20 away on both sides. So, whoops, I'm thinking ahead and working too fast. Okay, so 12 equals the question mark because 12 plus 20 would give you 32. So that should seem simple enough, especially when one of your lines is only broken up into 2 segments. But what if your line is broken up into 3 segments and you have to kind of derive the rest of your information? Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let me change over here. Alright, so take a look at number 6. So number 6 is telling me that, well, we have some givens. We know that from G to H is 2, from H to I is not marked, and from I to J is 12. Okay, here we go again with this marker. It does that sometimes. Well, what's the whole? Do we even need the whole? So what do they want us to find out? Well, look at the directions say to find HJ. That's important because HJ is from here to here. So let me clean this up for you, and we can mark this just a little bit differently. They want us to find the total of all of this green section. Well, we do know that this is 12, But how can we find the measurement from H to I? Because if I add those two up, I'll have my answer. Well, here the given is that this is 2 and that the whole of this is 7. So I would do the same thing I did up here in 1, 2, and 3. I do have to say 7 minus 2. So the whole here is 7. Then we have the 2 plus some other thing that I don't know. Call it a question mark. So if I minus 2 on both sides, I see that the question mark area would be equal to the number 5. So this segment would be 5, that segment, because 2 and 5 would give me the whole 7. I actually needed to solve that piece of information before I could add these two segments together. So I can say that HI is equal to 5 plus IJ is equal to 12, so that the total of HJ is 17. So there are a few steps you may have to rationalize in your thinking, find the missing parts given the information that you're given. Usually they're going to give you enough information that if you think about it enough, you'll figure it out. But always go back and make sure you know. On this one, you may have found this answer 5 and thought that your answer was 5 as a final answer. But what they wanted you to find was HJ. So make sure you're paying attention to the directions stated. So hope that's enough to help. Try your best and good luck.